Here.
Here.
Ms. Judy McAllister is not with us. Ms. Patricia Parson?
Here. Here.
Thank you. And before we proceed, I just
Oh, thank you.
We'd like to thank everybody for participating today and being part of the meeting. The order of business next, I guess, is to have the approval of the previous meeting minutes, February of this year. Do we have any additions, corrections, or deletions? Do we have a motion to approve?
No.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Is it Mon?
No.
Or Patty? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And if I could remind our board members, and myself included, make sure that your button is red when you're speaking into the mic so we can have the recording. Thank you very much.
We're up for the legislative updates next.
Thank you. And we will turn it over to our counsel for the board, Hugh Cross, to go over any of the legislation that is going on. As you all know, we still have session going on at this time. Not sure if it'll end in the next couple of weeks or by the end of April, but those are the items that our attorney, Hugh Cross, is going to update us on. Thank you, Hugh.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I do have a few bills here to update everyone on. Senate Bill 2754, I spoke about this last meeting. The original bill, this was a caption bill, and it was the one I mentioned about shortening the amount of time a barber student had to complete courses from 8 to 7 years. And anyway, that has now been amended, and the current amendment is it adds a new section to 62.3.124A1 as it relates to obtaining a license as a barber instructor. So essentially, this amendment allows individuals licensed as a cosmetology instructor to become a licensed barber instructor if they complete 300 hours in a registered barber school or regarding the fundamentals of straight razoring and barber technique. This bill also, as amended, reorders 62.4.10C2 as it relates to obtaining a license as a cosmetology instructor. So this amendment also allows individuals licensed as a barber instructor to become a licensed cosmetology instructor if they complete 300 hours in a licensed school of cosmetology, learning the fundamentals of cosmetology technique and pedicuring. And I do want to mention that as written currently, these new subdivisions do not replace the current requirements for applicants for licensure to become barber instructors or cosmetology instructors. It's just adding a new pathway there. Are there any questions on that current amendment? No?
Thank you very much.
Welcome. I do have a couple more to go over here. Senate Bill 2768. This was I mentioned this last meeting as well. It has now been amended to allow licensees whose license has expired but have been licensed a minimum of 25 years to have their license reinstated without requiring state law and practical examinations, as would be required for those applicants seeking initial licensure. And as you know, in 62.4.117, there's a 3-year lapse rule in there that essentially if a license has been expired for more than 3 years, then once the applicant, if they want to be relicensed, they have to take the state law exam and the practical exams again. So this amendment is essentially grandfathering them. So if they've been licensed for 25 years, the license expired for 3, they don't have to come back, and they want to reapply, they don't have to come back and retest. Are there any questions on that bill? Okay.
Is that for active, they have to be actively working for 25 years, or is it just they have a license?
It would be an active license. We don't really ever know if they're working and using it. It would be based on your initial license date.
I have one more bill for you. Senate Bill 2394. This is the bill I mentioned last meeting that was going to allow a combination of in-person physical presence participation and participation by electronic means. And as far as I can tell, this bill has been tabled and it hasn't moved further. So until something changes, board meetings will need to be in person. So, and that's all I have for the legislative update.
What was that number again?
That is
2394?
2394, Senate Bill 2394.
Thank you, Hugh. And I'm not sure if as we started before roll call, I mentioned that the notice for this meeting was posted on the board's website before March 31st. That would be last Thursday. And so again, the website has the link to participate telephonically if those want to call in. It also has the live stream going on right now, and proper notice was given to the public regarding this meeting. If there are no questions for Hugh, we will proceed with our applications before the board with our school applications. Board members, on your iPad under the presentation itself, you start at page 7. We have all 4, I believe, of the schools that are participating on the call. Ms. Helani Harris, you're still on the call with us, is that correct?
Yes, I'm still on the call.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, that happens to be our first item. So on your iPads, board members, you have Ms. Helani Harris able to participate telephonically. She has a new barber school. This school, I believe, is 3,340 square feet located in Memphis. The school application, curriculum, blank enrollment agreement, and catalog, floor plan, and contingency plan were presented. This school was presented at the last board meeting, and due to several different items on the application, the board members denied it. And so I welcome your questions and give you some time to review.
Good morning, Ms. Harris. Thank you for joining us again. This is the Pinpoint.
Yes, this is Pinpoint Barbering Academy. It's a new barber school, was presented for the first time at the last meeting. Ms. Harris was not on the call, but the board members had several items, and so it was denied.
And if I could interject, this is Pam Spicer, Chief Counsel for the department. Ms. Harris, I had sent you a couple of emails since the last meeting because legal had some additional concerns about the location of your school and the equipment. I did send 2 emails and did not receive a response to either. I'll let the chairman, if he has any questions or any other board members, go ahead and look at your materials and ask any questions they have, and then I will probably have some follow-up myself.
Okay, for sure.
Ms. Harris, do you have a cosmetology school there already? Okay, I'm noticing on your
Not yet, no, sir. But I do plan on getting that one together in the future.
On your diagram, I saw that you had a cosmetology clinic floor listed.
Okay, yes. So I haven't yet put in my application and everything and got all my paperwork together. But like I said, I do plan on getting that in as soon as possible.
On your diagram, you've got it listed as your stations, and then they're numbered, and it says including sinks. Are you intending to have sinks at each station, or are you just maintaining the required 5?
It will be a sink at each station, yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just curious. This is going to be a full barber program?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could you direct me in your information, I guess, in your catalog, where your curriculum is on the barber instructor program?
For the barber instructors program, I do believe I have a bunch of information, not in the student handbook, but we're looking at the curriculum. In the curriculum section.
Okay, I'm looking at page, for our members, for our page 20, and I don't think your pages are numbered. It does say curriculum. It has your hours of operations and some other information, but I don't see a curriculum listed at all.
Okay. All students bring their in the curriculum, it's pretty straightforward. Was there anything specific that you wanted to see or that you need to see in the curriculum?
Well, yes, ma'am. The curriculum is actually supposed to be printed in your information for your students. It should be the state board curriculum.
Well,
should
of
be
course.
Well, I don't see one for the Master Barber program here either. Just if you can just tell me where it's at.
Okay. So, this entire section is the entire master, was only the Master Barber program so far. I didn't know if I probably should have labeled it a little better, but
Well,
now is there something that I need to add?
well, again, the requirements are that you have to have your curriculum listed here in your document so the students will know what it is. You don't have one for the
It's the
barber program or the
very
instructor program shown. So,
instructor program. Okay, gotcha. So it's the very last, and I guess I should kind of organize it better for students to see. Well, it is kind of merged in here, but I will go ahead and add another section for the instructor program specifically. So yeah, this was initially just the master barbering.
yeah,
I
And
don't
it
see
has
it.
I'm not seeing
okay.
either curriculum in this.
On our document, it's on
this
page
is-
27. It just says curriculum, but it never gives an actual curriculum.
Right.
I hate to ask this question, but so what are you guys looking for specifically in the curriculum section? Like what, I know
Under
that I
the
could look
state
at
board,
like,
if you look up the statutes on the state board's website, it's going to give you a listing of all the requirements that need to be in your documentation for a
perfect.
school. And
okay, I'm definitely going to have to check back with that one. And then I can just add it to this document, correct?
let's see here. Can you tell me in your documents where we can find the policy on transfer hours, transfer credit hours?
Transfer hours.
Whether the school accepts them, how they accept them, what their procedures are.
Okay, let's see. Okay.
While you're looking for that, I'll go ahead and tell you, I did not find your emergency policy on how you're going to deal with your students in case of a closure or contingency plan. I see on page 28, that you have contingency plan here.
Yes, sir.
See here.
Mr. Chairman, I would strongly suggest that Ms. Harris go back to the Tennessee website, make a checklist for all of the requirements for this document for us to approve a school for her. There's already 3 things that we've just, are talking about that we're not seeing. And there are other things, but it is outlined, and a lot of people do that. They just make their checklist straight from the website and present to us a full document. And I would strongly suggest that we, review it again after that.
For sure.
Step
Now,
has
which
been
one do I
taken.
need to review? Excuse me. Where should I review? Because, like you said, I did go straight from the website, and I pretty much just knocked out everything that the website implied.
Well, there's no curriculum. There's no policy
Of
statement
course,
on
which-
transfer.
Uh-huh.
And, we could go through this, but, that's not what we're here for. You're to present a complete
Of
document.
course, no. But now, when it comes to the transfer of hours, that is normally just going to be in the area where the program, actually the enrollment contract is. And of course, I do remember having it in here and reading over it and just going over it back and forth. But I can go ahead and add a specific transfer of hours section there. And
If I can interject,
and I can add the not the barber development, but the instructor section for the curriculum as well, because I know those are 2 things that you want specifically. And also, I do want to get the outline that you spoke about, so I can ensure that I do have every single thing. Because me and Miss Roxana, we went over it for months, and of course, she was the sweetest. She was super patient as far as making sure that I had every single thing that I needed. And she was really nitpicky with me. So that's why I am kind of on my toes right now. So now where's the outline that I could refer to?
Ms. Harris, if I could, maybe this will point you in the right direction. On the State Board's website, you're going to see a hyperlink that refers you to the rules and regulations and then the barber laws. You should go into the rules and regulations and search through those. There's a listing of all the required elements for your documentation. And then you should also explore the link to the law section, which is separate from the rules. That also identify all of the necessary elements that must be in your enrollment agreement, contract, and then what items are policies that can be in your catalog. That's where you will find the necessary information.
Okay, so I'm on the website right now, and I kind of want to toggle to these places while I'm here now because.
Ms. Harris, we're not going to wait for
Okay.
search through all that right now. We have some other schools to get to, but
Okay,
that
for
would be
sure. But so now, okay, go ahead.
Ms. Harris, this is Pam Spicer again. If I can interject for a moment and also
For sure.
remind the board of a couple of things. On February 8th, you were sent a letter specifically stating that the board voted to deny your application. But in addition to that, you were given specific instructions about your enrollment contract and some of the issues with that. Legal has reviewed the contract, and the contract itself still has additional problems, and those problems could have been corrected in the letter that was sent to you, specifically the
So
Pell
now
Grant.
on
Ms. Harris, if
on
you'll
the
wait.
8th, and I can
Ms.
refer
Harris,
back to
excuse
this
me.
email.
Ms. Harris, please.
Yes.
Let's
Oh
let
no,
our
for
attorney.
sure.
Let's let our attorney finish.
Ms. Harris,
My
specifically, there was language regarding Pell Grant in your application that needed to be removed, and the completion rates. The completion rates, it's my understanding, you did remove and modify, but the Pell Grant language was not modified. Then, in addition, I specifically sent you 2 emails asking for information about the location and the equipment. The location of your school is 2195 South 3rd Street in Memphis. This is also the location of Last Minute Cuts, which is a school that's now been subject to revocation. I have questions related to the location that I put in an email, specifically how you acquired the location and how you acquired the equipment. I have not received a response to that. You also did not modify, per the letter that you were sent, the enrollment contract regarding the Pell Grant. In addition,
No.
ma'am, hold on just one second. In
Yes,
addition,
ma'am. For sure.
on your consumer information sheet, down at the bottom where you say contact us, you have listed the telephone number for Last Minute Cuts, which is a school that has been revoked.
So I actually attended this. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Ms. Harris, this causes legal significant concerns about your school application, and legal's recommending denial of the application.
Oh no. So well, the fact that school is about to be revoked is huge. But I just attended that school, and so that is why some of my information might have, kind of seemed like I imitated that application or something, like anything like that. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. But now, as far as those 2 statements from February, not statements, but those 2 bullet points from February 8th, I did get those fixed. Now, I don't know if everybody was able to get the updated version of the enrollment agreement, but yeah, the Pell Grants and everything, everything should be solidified. Everything should be up to par as far as the enrollment agreement. Those 2 pieces were.
Excuse me, this is Patricia
Yeah.
Parsons. I would like to make a motion
Hello.
to deny until you get everything fixed and up to where we need it to be
course.
at. That's my motion.
Well,
It's
I
on the
want to make
table.
sure. Thank you so much, Ms. Parsons. But I just want to make sure I have
I'm going to second
everything.
the motion, and hopefully we can just move on.
I think legal counsel was still
Yeah.
kind of making sure that you as board members have your information.
Those motion drop. Ma'am, please.
Ms. Harris, what is your relationship to Last Minute Cuts?
I don't. There's no relationship there. I was a student there.
Do you have any relationship to the owner of Last Minute Cuts?
And I was just a student at the school.
Ms. Harris, during the hearing for the revocation of Last Minute Cuts, there was testimony regarding your relationship to the school.
Okay.
But if your position is you have no relationship to Last Minute Cuts, that's your statement before the board today, correct?
I mean, not necessarily no relationship, but I'm just a student there. What's the whole ordeal with Last Minute Cuts?
Well,
This is going to be, okay, go ahead.
Ms. Harris, Last Minute Cuts is a school that's revoked. Also, Last Minute Cuts has appealed the decision to Chancery Court. So, in addition, technically, Last Minute Cuts has the location at 2195 South 3rd Street, and you're trying to open a school at that location, and currently that location has a school license attached to it for Last Minute Cuts, which is revoked but on appeal. In addition to that, there was testimony that you were the secretary at Last Minute Cuts during the hearing for the revocation, and you've just told this board that you have no relationship to them, in addition to any family relationship that you may have with the owner.
No, I hate to make this like a huge ordeal. I wanted to go ahead and get all of my paperwork and everything together. But like my location and inspection and everything, that comes after, correct?
I'm not sure I'm following
So-
the question.
Last Minute Cuts will not be a factor, nor this location. I just want to make sure all of my paperwork is up to par. I know that you guys have kind of been like on that super huge or whatever, but that's not going to be a factor at all. And of course, that address being on there, of course, that's a huge red flag. But I mean, it's once all of the paperwork and everything is solidified and I'm done with my renovations and everything, I will have the address and everything, and we can go ahead and put the inspection together for the first location of Pinpoint. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, is there any way, like, say if we were to go ahead, I mean, right now I see you guys are really like on this super tough, which is, I mean, I completely understand. Is there any way that we could get this application together and then have a specific date for the, like set up another date for the inspection and everything for the location, which is not going to be 2195?
So legal's recommendation based on your comments today remains to deny the application. I'm not sure what you're referring to about the different location now, but the location before the board today is the 2195 South 3rd Street. You also have outstanding emails specifically from me that you have not responded to, and legal cannot recommend approval of the application while there are still questions specifically from me that have not been answered about the location and the equipment, and then the additional matters that were brought forth by the board today regarding the lack of curriculum, the emergency policy, the transfer hours, just to name a few.
Transfer out. Okay. I need to make sure I have all of that down for the next meeting, I guess. But so what questions
Okay, Ms.
did I
Harris, we're going to move forward now. The board has heard the recommendation from the legal department. The board has had a chance to ask questions. Do we have a motion?
No.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to deny this application. Is there any other discussion from the members? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carries.
Thank you, board members. That carried unanimously. Next, we're moving on to page 29 on your iPads. This is Mid-South Cosmetology and Barber School. Ms. Shadana Banks is participating on the call. She is the school owner currently of a cosmetology apprenticeship school. This application has been presented to you previously. The school is located in West Tennessee. They are applying for a new barber apprenticeship school. It was presented in December and asked for some modifications. So Ms. Banks is happy to answer any questions that you have. Let's start on page 29.
Hello, Ms. Banks. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, how are you all?
We're well. You said page 29.
Page 29, yes, on your iPads.
And this is the apprentice program, correct?
Correct, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
an existing school at this location?
Yes, it is a cosmetology apprenticeship school.
Yeah,
So
I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just going through my notes, Ms. Banks, for just a minute, just to refresh myself on yours.
Okay.
Ms. Banks, I think I've got just one or two quick questions for you here. Are you doing your cosmetology apprenticeship out of the same space?
Yes, I am.
Okay. What is the size of your facility? What's the square footage that you have on there? I don't see that on your drawing.
Hold on 1 second. I have about 3 spaces, actually. It's the first one I have is a 12 by 12. Then the other one I have is a 12 by 12, and the other one is 10 by 12.
So you're doing these programs in separate rooms? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. As I'm going through your application here, I noticed that you do have your full-time and part-time hours listed and all those. That looks very good. I did not see anywhere in here that you had it listed how many weeks the program is. It is you do have the approximate start and end dates. So if you're doing it on a 35-hour program as a full-timer, is that going to be roughly 40 hours? 40 weeks?
Yes, it's going to be about 40 weeks.
I'd like for you to go back and just take a look at your hours. You've got them listed a couple of different places within this paperwork, and they're a little bit off according to how much time they are spending in class. So I just want you to go back and double check those calculations. They're not off by much, but you've got a group, let's see, from 9 to 1:15, and a second group from 5 to 9. Those are going to have two different time and a third group from 9 to 5. So they've got a few different time allowances there, and just make sure that you're listing all of those different time allowances, because one of them is 21 and a quarter hours a week. Another one is 20 hours per week. We don't mind that you do that. We just need it to be listed properly, and it's listed a couple of different places, and the calculations don't add up, and they're not the same in both places. So if you would, just before you print these for students, if you'll just clean that up for us.
Okay. I'll clean it up.
And then one other note that I have is, if you don't mind, to fix your page numbers on the catalog. It looks like you run like numbers 1 through 5, and then it starts back over at 1, and then later it jumps on to 7 or something. Anyway, it's just a minor issue. If you'll just fix those page numbers at the bottom, that's all the notes that I have for you.
Okay, I'll fix the page number.
For the members, and again, this is not a problem with yours because this is something I don't see this way often, but it's perfectly fine. One of the requirements is that they give a written receipt to the student, and she does not have a specific policy that says that she's going to do that. But in her enrollment agreements, she absolutely has a place where she's indicated to place a copy of the receipts from the student, so that is covered. Okay. I see that your curriculum is in there, and I did not have any further notes on that. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any other discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Thank you all.
Yeah, and Ms.
Good
Banks
luck.
will need to do an inspection, but because it's in apprenticeship school, we won't need to send a board member. So if you're ready, just send me a quick email and a field inspector will be out. Thank you, ma'am.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank
Next,
you.
board members, we start on page 65. This is Memphis Barber College. It's a new barber school. Mr. Emery Hammonds. Mr. Hammonds, are you on the call with us? Hopefully we won't have any questions. I know he sent me a couple of emails. Give me a minute. Let me see. I will let the board members have a minute to review. This presentation was presented at the last meeting as well and returned for several modifications. The school is also located in Memphis. Their curriculum is before you, the blank enrollment agreement, catalog, floor plan, contingency plan. The school is 4,000 square feet. I believe the items that the board members went over have been corrected and revised, but I don't see him able to join us at this moment.
On this application, I think we did have several corrections from the last time, and it's a much cleaner document. Much as in the previous case, that stated policy for the receipt is I was not able to locate it. I'm not sure that it is in there, but again, there's a place for a receipt to be added, so I think that would cover that in my opinion. I had a question, maybe Roxanne, you may know this off the top of your head, one of the members. The age for admission in the barber program, which is different than the Cosmo, I believe.
It is
18?
not. In October of 2021, it was dropped to 16.
So it did change.
So both cosmetology and barbers have to be 16 years of age. Of course, there's exemptions for the high schools
Right.
as well, so they can start a little bit earlier than the 16, but that's the age. So I think his documents have been updated.
We're
Yes.
16, and we're good
16,
on that now.
yes.
Okay. Those are the only two comments I had on this application.
Motion to approve.
A second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Congratulations.
And good luck.
Yes, Mr. Emery Hammonds, I think you're watching us live, but you're connected and work at this point, and so you and I will be in contact. Because this is a full barber school, not apprenticeship, we will need a field inspector and board member to be able to do that, so I will be in touch. Congratulations. Board members, next on your agenda is Tennessee School of Beauty. This is a school extension. It starts on page 93. And as the members know, for expansions of schools, especially if they are only for classroom, we don't need to do an inspection. Mr. Adam Brown sent me the information, and he wasn't sure if he'd be able to participate today. Mr. Brown, are you on the call? Okay. So if you've got any questions, I can relay them to him. It's basically pages 93 and 94 on your iPads. And we usually do these as a courtesy just to make sure that the board is informed when they are expanding classrooms. And this school is in Knoxville.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next on your iPad, starting on page 95, this is a new school application. It is being presented to you for the first time, Legacy Beauty Institute, LLC. It's a new cosmetology apprenticeship school. Ms. Priscilla Heron is on the call to answer any questions you have. The school is located in Milan. The new application, curriculum, blank enrollment agreement, catalog, floor plan, and contingency plan were all received timely. I will let the members ask any questions that you have. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm sorry I missed your name.
Priscilla Heron.
Good morning, Ms. Heron. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning.
Island, that's down in West Tennessee. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I've been through there several times.
Small town.
On your diagram, Ms. Heron, I don't think I saw any dimensions. Can you tell me the square footage of the size?
The square footage it's 1,500 square foot.
1,500?
And the rooms, yes, sir. And the rooms are 15 by 15.
And again, this is apprenticeship only, so it would be just for classrooms, yes.
Taryn, can you show me or tell me in your documents where to find the policy that says the students will read and understand the agreement before making any payments?
In the
page 106 of our tablets.
Yes.
106.
Yes.
Thank you.
I think her pages are not numbered. It's
right,
page
right,
7
they're
at the
not
top of hers.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes, it is. Page 7.
Can you tell me your backup method for tracking your student hours? I assume you're going to have them clock in some way or sign in. How are you going to do that, please?
Yes, we use a square method, and also I will have a clock in too. I have two methods to keep up with it, just to make sure that we get all the hours correct.
Can you point me to your transfer policy?
Yes, sir. On page 3.
Oh, I see it there. Thank you. I missed that. Perfect. You're not going to be doing distance education in this. It's going to be an in-house apprentice program, correct?
Yes, in-house. And then when they get through with their practical up under a licensed professional for 10 years, I'll come back and we'll do the state board prep.
Okay. In the cosmetology program, in the apprenticeships, that does not include instructor, does it, Roxana?
It does not.
Okay.
They would have to do the junior instructor, which is a little bit different. That's technically almost an apprenticeship program, but
Right.
yeah, otherwise it is.
Want to make sure I was clear on that. Okay. That pretty well answered the questions that I have. Does anyone else have something?
Explain to me the student salon floor during their 750 hours that they are released from you into someone else's care. So during their apprenticeship for that 750 hours, it says that they must return to the school on Mondays, I think, or one day a week to test. Can you explain to me that, and are they receiving hours for that?
No, that's for the state board prep. After they finish their hours, under supervision of the licensed cosmetologist, they will come back and I will prep them. That's the one day.
So that is after the 750 hours are completed.
Yes, ma'am.
And
they're getting ready to go to state board. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just wanted some clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're saying that's kind of like a post-program review, getting them ready for the state boards they come back to, just to make sure they're ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? We have a motion to approve,
I'll second it.
and we have a second. Is there any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Herron, congratulations. And we will not need a board member to inspect, just a field inspector. So send me an email when you are ready, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Board members, we are next on the agenda, moving on to the couple of more requests for the 2022 continue education seminars that need to be approved by the board. This is for our 16 hours that the instructors are required to take. I believe Ms. Jones, are you on the call with us? You're on mute, but I do see you, Ms. Jones. So Ms. Amaria Jones is participating telephonically. She is requesting to have 2 different session dates, June 26th and 27th, as well as August 28th and 29th. The sessions are planned to be in person as well as virtual. I will let the members review the documents, and they are on your iPad starting with page 131.
Roxana, this would have to be added to our visit list.
Correct, and that's been posted. We updated it with the last one, and of course, there's no time frame of when we can not accept these. It's just a little bit difficult for those that have already selected courses. But otherwise, if it's okay with the board, within the next week or so, I will update the list on the website.
Make a motion to approve.
Second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And next we have Ms. Destiny Cox. This is with DCI Academy. She's also on the call if you have any questions. She is asking for one date. This is also for the instructor continuing education. She would like to offer November the 13th and 14th via Zoom.
Good morning, board. How are you guys doing today?
Hello. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Stephanie.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll
Having one
second
later
it.
in the year is great.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And Ms. Jones
Thank
and Ms. Cox, congratulations. We'll update that as soon as possible. Board members, we're going to go ahead and on your iPads, you'll have to switch to your library and get to the legal report. So Michael Underhill will make sure to review the legal report if you've got any questions. Thank you, Mike.
Good morning, Board.
Morning.
I do have one quick item before the board starts its review. Under the cosmetology cases, item number 23, that matter has been concluded by agreed citation, so obviously the board does not need to look at item number 23.
Thank you. It appears that this report's quite a bit smaller than we're used to.
Yes, well, yes. And of course, you all know Mike does a fantastic job. I think we've got real consistency in the cases. We've also seen, for those board members that have been here a while, a huge reduction in our complaints. So that, of course, is a good thing. I think a lot of that's education and all of the efforts you all do and everyone. So it's very nice to see manageable numbers.
All right, Roxana.
Yes, sir.
I was just going to say that we really owe a congratulations, I guess, and a thanks to our inspectors who go out and the rubber meets the road, and they're doing a good job educating the shop owners and the workers out there on what the requirements are. So I think a lot of that success is absolutely due to their hard work.
Thank you. I will share that with the field inspectors and their supervisors because it's true. They represent us and make sure that we protect the public by educating.
Did we have any questions on the items in the legal report? Any changes?
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we
I
have a
second.
That was Monica. We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Good job, Mike.
Thank you. Okay. And now we can move back to our presentation. Our applications start on page 135. And these are, I'll give the members a minute to get to the applications for examination. As you start to review them, I can go over the first couple. Our first two applicants for felony applications are Miss Megan Darby and Alexandria Holmes-Miller. They were approved prior to this board meeting based on the board members giving permission to myself and legal counsel Hugh Cross if we needed to review the documents together. They have presented their individual documents as far as what the felony was about. The board had given me authority for those individuals that are not incarcerated. They're coming through reciprocity or through Tennessee, and therefore by waiting for a board meeting, they would be held back from working. So I have already approved both of these. I'd like the members to review the documents and make sure there is no other concern. They received and have signed the 2-year agreed order that we do with everyone. So if there are no questions regarding those two, I will go through the names of the others that we do need to approve today.
With the two you just covered, can we vote on those all together?
We can do them all together.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. So next on your iPads, you have applications for examination for Hallie Hart, Melvin King, Eddie Simons, Javon Spivey, and Lorenzo Vong. These applicants have felonies within the last 3 years and or are incarcerated. They are asked to take the Tennessee examination, so they've submitted before the board disclosure letter regarding the felony as well as a recommendation letter. The board approves these based on agreed orders being signed for a 2-year probationary order. If the board would like to change the time frame, now would be the time. I will let you review these, and if there are no other comments or questions, we would need a motion to do all of these.
We have a motion to approve all these.
Second.
We have a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next, we're moving on to our reciprocity application, and that is one individual on page 178. Give me a minute for my iPad to get there. This application is for reciprocity of a master barber and cosmetology instructor license from Missouri for Miss Deanna Coleman. Ms. Coleman was licensed in Tennessee in 2012. She currently has a cosmetology barber instructor license from Missouri. So Missouri has a dual license as opposed to ours being separate. That license requires 600 hours for the instructor hours and both examinations. Currently, Ms. Coleman has a master barber license that is in an expired grace period and remains in that grace for a year. That means that she would owe $240 to bring that license up to current. So by applying for reciprocity, if the board grants that license, then she would only pay the $100 for that reciprocal license, and she does meet the credentials for a master barber instructor. We'd be able to give her her old license, which is what we always like to do because of the history, but not have her pay the additional $140. So that is her first request. The same applies to the cosmetology. She qualifies to come in as a reciprocal cosmetology instructor and get that license as well. The penalty on that license is only $95. So in essence, that one's almost a wash, but the barber piece was a significant amount, and we were right at a board meeting, so it was worth asking the members if they would be willing to consider this a reciprocal license. Internally, what we would do is approve the credentials and give her back her old license without her having to pay those late fees, if that makes sense.
Is her current license is it Missouri?
It's a Missouri Cosmetology Barber Instructor License. It is on page 182 of your iPads. So it's unique. She's got a job already in Tennessee at a school that's teaching both. So obviously to that school, she brings forth a lot of information.
Since she's licensed in Missouri, the Tennessee portion of that would really not have any effect, in my view. So if we look at that just as reciprocity, then we wouldn't be in gray area on waiving fees that we might not have authority to do. So if we do it as reciprocity, then I think
that's what you all can approve. I wouldn't be able to, because generally that grace period for a license means until it's not expired. You really do have to renew it. She's in a unique situation. Normally our reciprocal applicants do have to come in and just renew and make it right. Given the fact that it's instructor, has all the credentials, has the exams, has a job, we're looking at it sort of for a first time because there's a financial impact, obviously.
All the other additional requirements for instructors.
And they meet them, yes. So we would be looking at accepting the reciprocal and bringing her license active. And that would be my recommendation, if the board's okay with it.
I would make a motion to go with Roxana's recommendation.
Dr. Cagle, could I ask you to get, there you go,
sorry.
your red button,
Sorry.
there you go.
On 183 and 184 of our iPads, she makes a good point about the pandemic affecting
Right.
communication, which it certainly did.
Yes.
So
We have a motion and a second to approve for reciprocity, and I would say there's no testing or anything involved in that.
Correct. We'd just be able to approve and document your approval so that the penalties are never questioned. Yeah.
All in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carries.
Thank you. She will be very excited. Next, we are on to our miscellaneous section of the presentation. We have a presentation that starts on page 190. And this is a request to not have to retest pursuant to Rule 0440-1-.10, which states that an applicant must apply for and pay for the original license within 6 months after passing the examination. The board may, for good cause, waive this requirement. The board has previously given me the authority to waive for an additional 6 months, but that gives us only 1 year of good cause. Ms. Lakin Townsend provided an explanation that she neglected to complete the application process to get her aesthetics license. She passed the practical exam on February the 2nd of 2001. So she had just gone over the year, and therefore I could not review it or approve her.
To Dr. Cagle's point from the previous case, what happened in 2001? Everybody's in the pandemic, so.
Board has approved these in the past. We don't get as many now. Most miss the 6 months by just a little bit, and they come through me, and I'm able to approve them so they can start working.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We are winding down, so I thank you, board members, for your patience. On your iPads, starting with page 194, the director's report. This is our fiscal update as of February 2022. Surplus added $7,490. It has brought our total year-to-date reserve at $1,194,839. Still well within where I think we're comfortable. We've had a lot of expenses for the technology and expect to have a few more, but nothing to be concerned about. I don't think there's anything, but I welcome any questions the board members have. This is informational only, so we don't really need to vote on it, but if there are any questions, I welcome those. Under items that I want to make sure to go over, many of our board members are aware that PSI launched their new system. I just want to give a quick update the first week of February for the testing procedures. We've talked about this, sent information to the schools. Every now and then, some of the schools aren't, didn't get to do the training and have additional questions, but I think we're at a much better place. The first few weeks was still rocky, as with all technology, and that's all I'll say. They've done several fixes, among them that include a speedier update of the practical exam. That was one of the things that they struggled with, and I did as well, because a student passing and waiting several days was just not acceptable. So they have been able to fix that. Lynn is very excited. We've been able to test that. I believe that's been resolved. As the board already knows, the PSI exam now can be taken virtually. That means the theory and the practical, so that's a huge thing. I don't have statistics yet, so by June we might. I want to let you know how many are using that, virtual exam, if you will, but that's very exciting. I believe the practical is going really well, because if we think about it, we are testing to protect the public almost exclusively, and that should be a topic that is covered almost from the first day of school through the very end. That should be so repetitive that I expected better passing scores, and hopefully I'm on the right track. We are seeing better scores, but obviously it's because we're teaching that. You all are teaching that consistently. So, but I want to look at all that information to be able to share it with the board and keep you up to date and so forth. So, so far the things that needed fixing seem to have been done, and I think we're moving in the right directions. Any questions?
Roxanne, I did have a question on the PSI exam. I haven't spoken with Lynn or any of those folks. We had a question about the manicure being off of the candidate information bulletin. Did we get all that?
We did. It was added. Unfortunately, when they added it to the bulletin, the updated date still says November. It threw one school off because they prepared their students to not have the manicure piece, the nails and the skin, and it was on there. And so, and I understood that was, an issue. The candidate bulletin, Lynn promised me they're going to try to update anytime they update it, change that date, because that's huge, especially if you print it. My encouragement, because it has technology within it, when you hover over it, you can actually see additional information. So I encourage schools to not print it, but teach their students how to use the virtual process, because then you'd always catch what you're going to go do. In that particular school's case, it didn't really impact them, because I think either PSI had the hand to do the nails, piece. But in any case, it has been
Right.
updated, so I think it's in there. I think we're good.
For the schools that are watching, just want to make sure
Absolutely.
they know that on the barber side, the manicure is still in there.
Still in there, and the skin. Yes, that's a great question. So, the other piece that I do want to kind of touch on a little bit is, before we turn it over to Hugh to update us on where our rules are, we've talked about, the school presentations. This time we didn't have as many, and I want the members to know that my first conversation with school owners starts with the laws and rules. So I tend to point to them and really ask that they read the laws and rules thoroughly before we can continue. That way I can answer all their questions and we can really get into what it is that they want to do in their business choices. So I think I'm going to work on some type of I'll call it a checklist. I still always want to start with the school owners going to the laws and rules, because you're going to be teaching all of that for shop owners and so forth. So I can't feed that on a checklist. It has to be the beginning. But I think that'll expedite your process when you see that I've marked the pages if I can. The downside for me marking the pages, as you know, is that I keep getting school applicants until the end and it won't match your iPads. But I'm going to go ahead and initial on each chunk, and the key pieces that are mentioned in the statute I will outline, and then hopefully before the next meeting it's online as soon as it can get done. I think we'd all discussed that the focus has always been for school owners in particular to know the laws and rules, so we've never done anything for that reason, to make sure that they really do it. But I think we're going to do something along those lines that'll help you all review it faster as well. That sounds good. And I'll make sure to email whatever version we come up with. Absolutely. And Hugh, if you want to update on the last, as you remember, board members, we did a draft set of rules that included the sanitation changes and then some flexibility for the shops that are very specific with equipment. And I just want Hugh to kind of give us an update of where it is and connect that.
Yeah, these rules are currently in internal review. My hope is to have a rulemaking hearing at the next board meeting, so that would be June 6th. It's a little tight on proper notice I have to give, so after internal review, the rules will go to the governor's office, and then once I get approval back from the governor's office, then I have to you have to give proper notice to the public, and statute requires 52 days for me to at least to give notice to the public. So the deadline for that would be around April 15th. So I would need to have the rules filed with the Secretary of State, and then send out one of the electronic notifications. Right now, I can't say if that's going to happen or not. It's sort of pieces that need to be completed, but I'm doing my best to get it for the next rulemaking here. I mean, the next board meeting. But if not, we should have time for the following board meeting. So, are there any questions on that, or no? Okay.
I think we're in pretty good shape the last time we looked at it, so I know there's always a little tweak in there, but thank you for your work.
Oh, absolutely.
That is all I have, Chairman Gillahan. I'll turn it over to you.
Wait, it's not 5 o'clock.
Compared to our last few meetings, yes.
Oh, wow. Again, thank you to our folks watching, and now that some of the COVID is behind us, might hope to start seeing more folks coming in and being with us in our meeting. So thank you all for all your hard work, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you, members, for being here, for your patience. We're adjourning. It is 10:30. Thank you to those that participated virtually. We will stop the recording.